Hannah, good afternoon. It's wonderful to see you. Tell us, what is your art?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I am a portrait painter, and I seek to use my paintings, my art, as a way to shine a light on and elevate the voices of women from displaced and marginalized and persecuted communities around the world.
That is amazing. Now, I've got a copy of your book here, which is available, by the way, at very good prices on sale in the corner there. It's called Tears of Gold, and it contains a whole number of portraits of women. It has a foreword by His Majesty the King. Tell us a little bit about this book and the paintings inside it, Hannah.
So this book, Tears of Gold, it collects together my portraits of Yazidi women who escaped ISIS captivity, Rohingya refugees who fled violence in Myanmar, Nigerian women who survived sexual violence in northern Nigeria from Boko Haram, and Fulani militants, and also more recently portraits of female judges from Afghanistan who've come over here to the UK, mothers and daughters, mothers and their children from Ukraine, and also a woman from Gaza. She's a young artist out there in the Gaza Strip, and Tersane, who's a survivor of the concentration camps in Xinjiang. So this book collects together all of these paintings with their stories, and I had the great privilege of meeting many of these women while I was out organizing art workshops in Iraqi Kurdistan, northern Nigeria, and also Bangladesh. And so it's, a great privilege to have all the work together in this book. And it's been a long time coming. It's been about 5 years of work.
That's remarkable. And you've had your paintings in all sorts of interesting places. So I saw your paintings on display in Parliament. Tell us a little bit about that. What's the story behind that?
So the paintings were shown in Parliament. That first time was about 2017, so it was soon after I came back from Iraq. And I showed the women self-portrait paintings alongside their portraits. Of my paintings, I use early Renaissance painting methods, so gold leaf, and it's very time-consuming methods of painting. That's almost like a prayer. So they were shown in these contexts as a way to share their stories, and they were even mentioned in PMQs by Theresa May, and then in the Sunday Times, in an article alongside Damien Hirst, which is a strange combination. So it's using art as a way to shine a light on these stories. And I've been, surprised at the places they've been shown and the way they've been received and the opportunities, the way it's been taken into political contexts. It's been definitely an unexpected journey.
That's remarkable. Art, of course, it often invites us to imagine a different world, doesn't it? Or it reveals to us what is wrong with our existing world. What is your hope as people engage with your art? What do you want to see happen?
Yeah, I hope that the paintings just create a small opportunity, just a small opening, a space. As art is born of contemplation, it takes time, it takes care, it takes love to create a painting. In exhibiting them in these contexts, it's a way to, I hope, to create a space for people to contemplate and to engage with the stories of these women, because I think in our world today, we're so hyper-saturated with images and bombarded by news and the media that we cease to see the images, cease to see the faces, the individual stories behind these human crises around the world. And it's so easy to lose sight of that and forget these are people just like us in these different contexts. So I think a painting alongside the women's stories and also alongside their paintings is a way to enter in, and in showing them in these contexts, like political contexts, where people probably don't have the time to go to art galleries and wouldn't necessarily be exposed to that opportunity. I hope, is a small chance to create that space for contemplation, that maybe you will create space for a heart change that might then inspire a social policy change. So you never know what that small drop in the ocean, really, what the ripples that will come from that.
And do you think there's something distinctive about art and painting? I was listening yesterday to a photojournalist, and of course, people in all sorts of, as we've been reminded, trades and sectors have an opportunity to influence, to advocate for a cause. But do you think there's something particularly significant about painting? What is different with painting as, for example, with a photograph?
Yeah, well, I think photography is incredibly powerful, and I work from photographs, so the paintings all come from photographs initially. But I think a painting, because it does take so much time, and I use early Renaissance painting methods and gold leaf, these images, therefore, have kind of connotations of an icon, of iconography and sacred art in the church. So using these sacred methods also has a real symbolism and a power. I don't use them just because they're beautiful. I use them because of the symbolism and the rich cultural heritage that they contain. And there is a message I hope to communicate through that, is that the sacred value of these women, when you particularly consider the sexual violence they have experienced, the persecution their communities are subjected to, that using these methods that are used in icons of the Virgin Mary is drawing that parallel, I guess. Yeah, in these icons of the Virgin Mary, she's often painted in her grief for the loss of her son. And many of the Yazidi women I painted, for example, their children were still in the hands of ISIS. So if we draw that it's a draw a thread from the Renaissance to our current day. So there's, I think, art, because it's got this rich lineage, and a painting lasts for hundreds of years. So it's got it's a testament to these women's stories and their voices for the generations to come. And so, it has a different, I guess, gravitas, perhaps. Because it's also born of these, so the painting methods I use for me are a form of prayer, because they are underpinned by icon painting methods. So when I'm painting, I'm praying for each of the women and their stories. Often tears fall. I can't help. Every time I speak, it's very hard not to cry, just remembering the women that I've met and their stories. But the painting, the methods themselves are contemplative and prayerful and embedded in tradition, in the iconography tradition, in the sacred art tradition. And so I think, for me, that is my way of praying for the women through this art.
Amazing. One of the themes of today seems to be that we're often contributing to something that lasts well beyond our lifetime. And we've got those great examples from history, but it's so good to have examples from the present. And of course, painting does that. We were earlier looking at a painting of Rembrandt's, and now we're looking at yours that will outlast us, but point to something greater and better. Tell us, Hannah, one final question. What are you working on now? What exciting projects have you got in store?
At the moment, I'm just finishing a PhD, so eventually it will be done. I feel like it's been going on forever. And my next project will be Bosnia. So next year is the 30th anniversary of Srebrenica. So I'm going to be going out to Bosnia in June and meeting some of the mothers of Srebrenica and hearing their stories and painting their portraits for an exhibition to mark the 30th anniversary. So that'll be the next project. And also, I'm due to be painting some portraits of survivors of modern-day slavery as well. So that's been another issue that's been on my heart for a long time to shine a light on. So it'll be a real privilege to have the opportunity to do that once the PhD's done. But it will be done eventually.
Well, we feel your pain with the PhD. And Hannah, I would really encourage everyone to go over to the corner, have a look at the absolutely stunning paintings that are within your book. Hannah Thomas, thank you so much. Please, would you give a warm round of applause to Hannah? Thank you.